I think people come to Montessori for so many different reasons. Sometimes because they have a child and they want something different and exciting and natural for the child. Sometimes a friend has told them about Montessori. Sometimes they have heard about it before, but now they have time to explore it. But one of the things that happens when people take training, they think they are going to learn about how to give Montessori lessons. But what happens is that a transformation occurs. The adult, no matter why he or she has decided to take training, undergo a complete change. They start to look at children in a new way. They start to look at learning in a new way. And in fact, they start to look at life in a new way. So one of the things that I like to talk to potential students about is the fact that this is an intensive course of study. It's very different than anything that they have done before, even if they already have a college degree, even if they already have a master's degree. That our approach is one that is very intense, and one must remove obstacles from one's own life in order to immerse himself or herself into the training. And then that transformation I talked about happens. So it's important that the student follow this path if the commitment has been made, and understanding that the work that comes as a result of this enlightenment, as a result of this transformation, is a work that can change the world. Because each adult who is working with children is sharing his or her not just knowledge, but love. And that is what reaches people. One of the biggest differences is what you're going to see when you go into a Montessori classroom and a traditional classroom. In the more traditional approach, most of the time you're going to see the teacher as the center of attention. The teacher who is talking to the whole class. You're also going to see that that classroom is probably all children of the same age, all doing the same thing at the same time. In a Montessori classroom, you're going to see children of different ages, and you may not even notice the teacher in the room because the teacher does not have the central position in a Montessori classroom. She gives presentations, she guides the children in their activities, she supports the children in their activities. Something else that you'll see is that the children are making choices. They choose what activity they're going to pursue, with whom they're going to do this work, how long it's going to take. You'll see that they're talking and interacting with each other a lot more than they're depending on the teacher. So it's a spirit of independence, I think, that is going to be very obvious to you. The fact that children choose, they move about, they talk with each other, and yet they're actively and purposefully engaged in their work. One of the things I notice about the traditional approach is that there are isolated bits of information that have been determined by a state or national curriculum. And so those bits of information are shared with the children, and The children learn those bits of information to some extent or another. But what we have in Montessori for the second plane is this amazing approach called cosmic education. And it's a term that is filled with nuance, but it has a very deep meaning. So we first give the children the big picture. Dr. Montessori said, these children are so curious about the how and the why of everything. So let us give them a picture of the universe. Let's give them the universe. Because the universe comprises everything. Everything is part of the universe. So instead of giving a little isolated piece, we first give the big picture. And I like to talk about this in terms of doing a big jigsaw puzzle. So imagine having one piece at a time. It's a lovely little piece, and you put it on the table. You get another lovely little piece, and you put it on the table. But in cosmic education, we give this big picture of the universe. It's like showing the child the picture of the puzzle before looking at the little individual pieces. And once the children have the big picture, then the individual pieces have meaning, they have context. And eventually the child starts to see how they fit together and relate to the big picture again. And I think one of the most amazing things, we start with this big, broad picture, but essentially we want to get to that last piece of the puzzle, and the child writes his or her name on that piece and puts it in, because it goes from the broadest possible to the most personal. I am part of this story. I am part of this puzzle. Another important aspect of cosmic education is the fact that although we are giving a presentation in geography or a presentation in biology, we don't think of it as a strict curricular approach, but rather that these things are interrelated. So cosmic education is about interrelationships. I mean, after all, could we have history if people weren't living in a geographical area that is enriched by the biological flora and fauna of the area that has a special climate, people living in that area interacting with other people? It's all part of one big, beautiful whole. I have been doing this work for a long time, actually since 1978, and this is one of the most exciting possibilities that I've encountered, to be here in a brand new place, beautiful Valencia, and perhaps being part of the course that is going to be happening here in the next year or so. It's an exciting opportunity to bring this meaningful work to a new culture, to support the beginning work that is already here in Montessori, and to bring it to a new level.